Yes, Lord.
CIRV'N RAW, goddammit.
Subscribe to CIRV'N IT RAW and let's keep it
all the way funky, uncut, raw. CIRV'N IT RAW, just like my boy Gutter Kane.
Yes, Lord. You done tapped into CIRV'N IT RAW Podcast. I'm your host, Gutter Kane, the Gutter Man, the Pyrex Iron Chef. And I got a special guest in here today. This lady right here is an entrepreneur. She's a co-host with her father on Holdin Court Podcast. I want to welcome to CIRV'N IT RAW, Rachel Renee. How you doing?
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad I was able to connect with you. You know, like I said, your dad's been like a big inspiration. I followed him, his platform, everything he's doing. I like how he's, kept it family oriented and brought his, you're the oldest in there.
Yes, I am. Eldest of three.
So he brought you in, and I'm, I've been paying attention with the stuff that you've been doing, not only with the Holdin Court, but as well with the GOAT moves. And you just have a lot of ambition and drive. And I noticed that you never, make any excuses for anything that you're trying to do. And I feel like you're trying to push other individuals to think alike.
Yes. Yes, I am.
And so originally, I know we were supposed to do this interview last week, but I really felt after watching the episode with Tariq, as well as the rebuttal for a lot of the comments, I was like, okay, hold on. I need to take my
I'm a feather. I'm a tangent.
Yeah, so I had to push it back. I was like, okay, hold on, it's too early. I gotta do something. I had to finish watching that episode as well as I needed to finish watching the rebuttal and stuff like that, and kind of get to know a little bit about where the direction that you were trying to let everybody know.
Yes. So, what do you want me to start with?
So I want you to start from the beginning to almost a summary of where you are now. So, you say
the beginning, like life, like me wise.
Yeah, this whole everything is you. This is all you. I know you stayed in Kansas City and y'all moved to LA. Start there.
Okay. All right, I got you. Yeah, I know how to hit the major points. That's why I was like, I summarized very well. So I'm like, listen, I can make it long, I can make it a few minutes. But no, I feel you. So yes, I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri side, where the Chiefs and the Royals reside, not Kansas. So I'm from the Missouri side. We how can I say this? So my parents had me young. My dad was 16, my mom was 18. He lied to her and told her that he was a senior. So I got to clear that up for my mama. My dad lied. He was, running his game. And so I came, I don't even think maybe about a year later. And I bring that up because, yes, I grew up with young parents. It's a slightly different dynamic. We pretty much grow up together. I'm from the east side of Kansas City, east side of the Red Line, like I said in that video. So a lot of hood influence, but even within the hood influence, my mother's grandfather is Nigerian. So my grandfather brought a lot of the Nigerian influence, and we lived with my grandparents up until I was about like 8. And then we moved deeper into the faux block where my dad is from before we moved to Los Angeles. And so, I grew up with my dad. It's pretty much like I said on the podcast, like he was young. It was always cars, guns, 90s rap. So I grew up on like all the 90s, besides the East Coast, besides Bel Air, but like your NWAs, your Ice-T, Ghetto Boys, Bone Thugs and Harmony, DJ Quick. And in addition to that, also,
Spice One?
Oh, what? Spice, Brother Lynch, like that's my top 5 right there. So all of that. And then also like your 80s, 70s R&B. So like Confunction, Atlantic Star, and all of Stephanie Mills, I'll Be Sure. So I had a very eclectic as far as music upbringing. And then I myself got into rock and classic rock. I discovered Jimi Hendrix, and that sent me down a whole rabbit hole of Led Zeppelin and Rolling Stones and the Eagles. And, so I have all of that. That was during my LimeWire days. Okay. And so when we moved to California.
Hold on, she said Lime.
I know.
Damn. Woo!
I know. I took it all the way back.
That Slice of Lime logo, boy, was a thing back then. But go ahead. Go ahead, though. You good.
Yes, no, that was the day when you was downloading and trying to figure out like, oh, is this gonna be good? But she was just downloading stuff. So trying not to download a virus.
Yeah.
So when we moved to California, we moved to Brentwood out of all places. We moved to Brentwood, California, which is like, you know, rich, affluent, super white, very Republican. And that was a huge culture shock coming from, I'm literally going from shooting guns in my backyard and, you know, we riding around. Literally, I'm like, we shooting guns on New Year's and we riding around the city, mobbing out to, oh, we're in Brentwood and everything's prim and proper in LA. And I'm like, okay. So even as a kid, I knew that it was like we had made a huge shift. And so I went to a predominantly white school. I went to Paul Revere. I was a Revere writer to my LA people that went there. Y'all know. I went to a Latin school in 8th grade. And so in high school is where I went to Birmingham out there. Birmingham High School is actually, they said it's one of the biggest high schools west of the Mississippi, but that's also where they shoot a lot of films and commercials there. So a lot of like Chris Brown Running was shot at Birmingham. Lil Wayne How to Love was shot there. So I went and did that. And then I went to college. I went to Art Institute of California, Hollywood. I got my AA in fashion marketing and management. I didn't want to go to college, but my mother is, you know, Nigerian woman. So I had to give her something. So I gave her that AA degree. I was like, I'm out of there. And I just wanted to work. My dad told her, he was like, this is not a working personality. You talking about go to school, get an education and a career. Like, do you know who you're dealing with? And so that always stuck with me, but I always wanted to get my experience from getting out there and basically fucking up. Like, that's just how I am. Like, I don't mind getting dirty. I don't mind being new at anything. I don't mind looking crazy, learning anything. Like, I would rather get right to it, get the right here, right now lessons, and then take that and move forward and, you know, mix that with other mediums of education and learning. So now to get to here. So after college, I worked in a bunch of different places. I think a shorter list would be where I haven't worked and what I haven't done. I've bartended. I've worked at warehouses. I've done accounting. I've done billing. I've worked in maternity, bridal. I've worked in athleisure. I worked everywhere. So I'm not that entrepreneur that, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 11. Like, no, I've definitely had my stint of working, and it was through working and just, you know, that discipline of having to do something that you really don't want to do, but you got to go and do it. It all culminated. So fast forward, COVID happened in 2020. I was in Kansas City. And being in Kansas City, everything was shut down. I mean, I knew it was shut down everywhere else, but Kansas City is already small and slow. So I'm like, it didn't need no help. But I started doing government contracting during COVID. So I was doing drug testing, DNA testing, and I pivoted into cleaning services. So I was crafting it to be basically the ultimate third-party administrator. Like, you come to me for all the services that you would need, because it was hard for people to find it out here. And then I was the only 24-hour provider. So because I'm coming from the West Coast, I'm a night owl. I'm like, stuff don't stop popping at 5. And then I lived in Vegas for a little bit too. So, you know, everything is 24 hours out there. So I was like, nah, we got to do something a little bit different. So the majority of my business was conducted after 5 p.m. But it was in that space that I had basically figured out. I was like, hold on, we have a huge gap here in the market as far as a platform that is reflective of today's entrepreneur, which is we do a myriad of things. We do consultations, we do courses, we do, you know, we sell products, we sell services. So I'm like, okay, if I want to sell this, I got to set up on Amazon. If I want to sell this, I got to go to Fiverr. If I want to do this, I got to go here. And it was just too much. I'm a 90s baby, 93. I get app fatigue, okay? I had outside time, you know, and phone time, not just, you feel me? Like, yeah. I'm not about to follow you or nobody across 10 apps. So that's when Goat Moves Inc. was created. And then I started developing that. And that's what, I had a breakup, went back to LA. I was like, I'm not staying here.
Hold on. Now, this was the clothing store, right?
No. So I had So I had a clothing store back in college when I was going to Super Fashion. Yeah,
Okay.
that was over and done like within a couple, I would say, years of after college. I loved it, but I wasn't as passionate about it as I was. Like, I like fashion, but not enough to make my whole life. And then I just wanted to do something. I've always wanted to do something that was really just revolutionary. I'm not even gonna, like, even when I was a kid, I was like, no, I just want to do something big and something that really just, it just got that vibe, and clothes is cool, don't get me wrong, but it just didn't light my fire. And so when I started creating this platform with Go Moves, that really lit my fire. And literally through 3 years of development and that trial and error, moving back, all the sacrifices, going to pitch parties and things like that, I really found something that I said, okay, man, not only can I help a lot of people with this platform, specifically small to medium-sized businesses, but I can create something that can really stand the test of time. Me selling clothes online ain't gonna stand the test of time. That could die right out with me. But something like this that is a utility, for civilization. Now that's something that can stand the test of time. So that is what got me back to LA. And then when I got back to LA, my dad was that's when he presented the podcast. Now I had known he was doing the podcast because we in Kansas City, that's our hometown. And I remember I was somewhere downtown, and this is when I knew it was getting big because I heard Lil Court. And so I turned around and I'm like, what? And so he was like, oh, you his daughter. I seen your dad on TV. He interviewed Ice-T and something. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it's not that I wasn't enthused about it, but like I tell people, I'm like, my dad been my dad my whole life. He was signed to No Limit in the 90s. So I've always been around entertainment and celebrities and stuff. So to me, just like how your dad go to work, it's just my dad going to work. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Hold on, before you move to Holdin Court,
Okay.
I have a question about this Goat Moves. Okay, now is Goat Moves similar to like a Shopify?
So the way I explain it to people, it's basically if Amazon and Fiverr and Angie's List came together and had a baby, that would be Goat Moves Inc. So Goat Moves Inc. is an all-in-one e-commerce marketplace. So the example I like to give is we have a lot of estheticians that are on the platform. They are able to sell not only their facial services, but they can also sell their products, like whatever their retinol, their creams, but then their ebooks that they have, skincare 101, how to get rid of this. They can sell all of that on Goat Moves Inc. in an e-commerce marketplace style. So Shopify lets you set up your template and everything, but it's still your site. It's not in a marketplace. Amazon gives you the marketplace, but you can't sell services or digital downloads. Fiverr gives you services, but you can't sell product. You see what I'm saying? Every platform.
So you're doing both.
Huh?
So you're offering both.
I'm offering an all-in-one, so you can sell your products, you can sell your courses, you can sell your services, you can set your own coupons, all your reviews are right there. So it's literally an all-in-one. So that way us, the new entrepreneurs, don't have to hop from platform to platform to platform, trying to get people to find all of what it is that we do. No, you just gonna come right here. Here's my products, here's my services, here's my courses, here's my ebooks, here's my downloads. We're done. I have a patent pending on the technology. So it's completely unique to us. No, I'd say this, Amazon, you can't take it. Google, you can't take it. If y'all wanted to do this, y'all would have been did it. So, because it's taken me 3 years to development, 3 years and 4 different development teams to develop this. Okay. So, and then, so now where I am now is that's why I'm also out here back in Kansas City. I've been out here campaigning and politicking. I'm about to launch my Reg C crowdfunding pre-seed raise. So it will be open to the public. This is kind of like my initial public offering. It will be open to the public and people will now officially be able to buy shares into the company. So they will have some ownership.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. Now, what all do you have going on? Because I know you have the Goat Moves, you have the Holdin Court Podcast, which we're going to get into here in a minute. And then
I do consulting. So I do have a consulting company because, just me being who I am, I didn't even realize, like, I've been consulting people for years. I'm like, I'm giving you game and like things. And then once again, because I'm a trial and error learner, I'm telling you exactly what not to do because I've already made the mistake for you. And when I started doing government contracting, and I was, able to add that to my repertoire, I said, oh yeah, I'm about to get into consulting because I just have a knack for demystifying industries and arenas that other people, other spaces like to overcomplicate. So I'm the CEO and founder of Goat Moves Inc. I am the co-host of Holdin Court Podcast, and then I do consulting. I also have a media company with my siblings, Gemini Moon Media, and we are now starting also to produce unique content. So shorts, horror shorts, things like that. So yeah, that's all of what I do. That's who I am.
Now, what's your whole role that you play with the Holdin Court Podcast? Besides being a co-host, like what all do you bring to the table?
With my dad. So I'm his co-host, but I suggest guests. I'm like, hey, I think we should get this person. But me being on Holdin Court kind of pivoted into me being like the brand manager for my dad, because out of Holdin Court and him building that following, we created legacy builders. And so that's what I told him. I said, you need to monetize yourself independent of the algorithm, but also create your own community that's yours, once again, independent of the algorithm, but that you can reach them, because people even in passing ask him the same questions all the time: health, fitness, being a father, being a husband. Like even as his daughter, I hear the same questions over and over. And then my dad, I will give him that. He's always been that. I'm trying to give everybody the game. I'm trying to run everybody the game. But I said, well, okay, why don't we give it some structure? Give it some, let's put the bells and whistles on there and let's create a community. And then that way, not only can you help them, but you can bring in other people that you want to help them in different aspects as well. So I became like the brand/family manager once I got on Holdin Court, and we have legacy books.
You said you didn't have no problem with being social, but you said you kind of was like to yourself.
Yes. Oh my God. No, I
find that hard to believe though, because like now I'm like, I follow your page on YouTube and shit, and I'm like, well, hold on, she said she like this, but hell, she act like this, and I'm like, I don't know, like I was like, damn, maybe she really, really did find her niche, like.
No, I'm still like this. That's what I tell people. Like, y'all get Rachel Renee, but on the everyday, it's Rachel Richardson. I'm at my house. I don't want to be bothered. I have one best friend. She lives in Texas. That's it. If I'm not with my sister, I'm by myself.
Okay.
I don't go to parties. I'm not really in the scene. This is why y'all just seeing me now. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, you're just seeing me now because I didn't want any parts of anything. And even seeing me, it took my dad bamboozling me, hoodwinking. He hoodwinked me. And I stand by this to get on the show. That man said, come see. And I was like, all right. And I kind of was like, man, he's talking about come see. But then you asking me, what you wearing? I'm like, I got on my clothes. And so I get there to the studio and I'm like, oh, hey, Uncle Ken, what's going on with you? And then my dad like, yeah, so grab her a mic. And I was like, who a mic? My sister? Nigga, what? I was just coming to see with my eyes. I didn't want to talk. And then I wasn't on social media for 7 years. I didn't have an Instagram. I still don't know how to work Snapchat. I'm barely getting the hang of Facebook. I was on YouTube, but my whole algorithm was finances, conspiracy, trading, business, natural hair. So I didn't even know that there was a whole, it's funny to say now, but I didn't know there was a whole social aspect to YouTube. I thought YouTube for like how-tos and tutorials and stuff. So when I got back, and that's what I told him, like when I first got to the space, I was actually pleading with him. I said, dude, you need to get like a Jeff Hilarious or B. Simone or Brenna Renna. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. And I feel awkward because I'm not in the know of this social media world. Like I've been living my real life. But he persisted and insisted that it had to be me. And I'm glad. I be teasing, but I'm glad.
I'm glad. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm glad, and this takes nothing away from Ken, but I really feel like Ken is that one that's like, I want to be in the background.
Yes.
Okay, and I feel like
Uncle Ken don't want to be bothered.
Yeah,
That's why they looking homeless.
like I ain't gonna lie, like he be knowing his shit though. Like when it comes to, especially when it comes to Bay Area hip hop, he be knowing his shit. And but I be like, I say, I bet you Ken probably want to be in the position that Rachel's in, and then Rachel want to be like Rachel's able to kind of really be. I don't know. I feel like he's natural at it. Like,
thank you. No, I appreciate it. Thank you. No, dude. And I'd be so nervous. Like, it take my sister to tell you, because we had to switch shirts. Like, I think the first one or the second one. And dude, I was sweating like a slave. You would have thought I was presenting 6 a.m. news on KTLA. Oh God. Because I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God. I was like, you got how many? I said, how many people gonna see this?
Yeah, your dad got a lot of, boy, they've been getting it. They've been racking it up. Because like I said, like, we started our podcast around the same time. Like, I've only had my, but because of his strategy and, you know what I'm saying, his like shit from the 90s, like he's been grinding, so he's able to push his, a little bit more. But I've been paying attention, and how I like how he went from, he was doing it just strictly YouTube, and then it was that, then they moved it over to Tubi. And they had it on Tubi. Well, they still have it on Tubi, and then now they're able to pick it up with Revolt. And so, are you assisting your father on? Because when I talked to him last, he was telling me that him and Big Steel kind of was doing something similar to like a Tubi, but more for Black people. I can't remember what he said the name of it was, the platform.
TV. Was that what it was? Cold TV.
Yes.
Cold TV.
Yeah, I think it's Cold TV. And so he said, are you assisting him with that as well? Like helping him?
So yes and no. So my dad, yes and no. That's a 2-part question for me to answer. So my dad is my media partner for Goat Moves Inc. So my streaming feature is coming through my dad. So I have a streaming feature, which is going to be equivalent to Prime. But like I told him, I said with Tubi offloading all of the creators that pretty much built it, they're going to need somewhere to go, but they need somewhere that, you already know is for them. And this isn't going to happen again. So we are partners in that particular aspect. But I am doing the platform and the tech and the raising venture capital side, where he is doing the entertainment relationship navigating side, if that makes sense.
Okay. So y'all are overall a good team right there, a good duo.
Oh yeah, all day. Yeah, it works. And it's a family business. My little brother's an actor. My little sister, she does all of our BTS and the production as well. She also comes to Holdin Court. And anytime you see us out in public, or you even see the behind the scenes of Holdin Court Podcast, that's my little sister. So it's a family business. Yeah. We just all have our different strengths. But me, my dad is I would say he's like the public persona. I'm like the back end structural foundation person that will come out to the public if need be.
Okay. Now, now Goat Moves was able to secure a multi-million-dollar advertisement deal with Consult TV.
Yes.
What actually led to that?
So I'll just tell you what led to this. So because I got to tell you what I got before that, so you understand how I got that. So when I finally got my platform, it was in a good beta state. So meaning that we've been able to onboard some users, some sellers were able to test it. I said, okay, I really need to go out and start pitching and getting in front of investors and raising capital. So I went to my dad. I told him, he knew I was frustrated because I was like, dude, I need now I need capital. I can no longer bootstrap, meaning that me and my co-founder funded on our own. We need real deal capital. So he put me in touch with Roy. Shout out to Roy Scott from Healthy Hip Hop. Roy used to be Mac James from Kansas City, the rapper. They used to run with Diamond. So for my Kansas City people, that's Mac James, but I know him as Roy Scott. So it's kind of like Court Dog. Some people know Court Dog, some people know Big Court. Yep. So, right. So I got in touch with Roy. Roy was like, you got to start going to these pitch parties and these investor events. He said they're all over LA and yada, yada, yada. So I said, okay, cool. So he sent me a few. So I went to SoCal Startup down in Irvine. That was one of the first ones I went to. And I got looped in with the Las Vegas ecosystem. of investors and, angel investors, venture capitalists. And then I met, shout out to Lou Tillman Consulting. I met a consultant at SoCal Startup that was very interested in what I was doing. And so upon meeting and, I sent him my pitch deck. I said, this is what I got going on. And he told me, he said, listen, I'll plug you with whatever investor you want, but it's up to you to sell the deal. I can't make them invest in you or believe in you. So about 50 investor pitches later, I pitched to Net Capital. Net Capital is a Reg CF. So Reg CF is crowdfunding. The best example that I can give is Isaac Hayes III, Isaac Hayes' son, who founded Fanbase. He has raised $10 million in crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is exactly what it sounds like. The public, the crowd can invest in it because a lot of time, which I'm kind of going off, but I'm going off to come back on. A lot of time in this space, this is how people get X'd out of generational wealth or any type of wealth because one, you just don't have access because you're not an accredited investor. Accredited investor makes $250,000 a year and has been making $250,000 a year for the past few years. That's not most people. So with the crowdfunding type of structure, not only does it allow for the founder to retain more control over their company and protect them from predatory venture capitalists, but allows for the public to get in on a company early. So back in the day, before crowdfunding, you could maybe buy stock. You could buy stock in Amazon, but you're not going to get access to it until it's damn near $100 a share. Well, we're going to be $9 a share to make it a little bit more public friendly, and you can actually get in on this. So once I solidified Net Capital, I'm in my pre-seed round, which means my first round of funding. I can raise up to $5 million. Well, actually, they let me raise more than $5 million, but they just push it to the next raise, to the next round. But it's a $5 million engagement. I'm literally concluding. I'm out here in Missouri. I just finalized my shares. The platform will probably be up here this week or the following week. So people will be able to go read about the company and invest. But because I was doing this, and because I'm targeting specifically small to medium-sized businesses that are struggling to compete with corporations, other people get down with that. So I was in Vegas at one of the pitch parties. I met a guy named Sean Coombs. Shout out to Sean. Sean Coombs is a real estate developer all throughout the Central America and in Greece. He also really liked the idea. And he was like, man, I actually wanted to do this years ago, but I didn't have the funding, nor did I have just the capacity, working kids, all of that. I didn't have the capacity to do it. So he said, hey, you need to meet this guy. We need a national campaign. And I said, do we do? Because I was already looking into basically, there are groups that basically help you get investors, but you have to pay for them. So fast forward. He said, I want you to meet Chris. He said, but same thing, like everybody tell me, I can make the introduction, but you got to seal the deal.
Yep, you got to do it.
Right. Yep. So I met Chris on Zoom. I told him about the company, the pitch deck, my dad is my media partner, all of these things. And basically what Chris did was he gave me the equivalent of a rev share deal. So I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but basically, you know how on Hulu, if you want to advertise on Hulu, you're going to pay $500. Yeah. Well, I'm only probably going to pay about $20. So I can run campaigns on every major outlet, Netflix, Hulu, Tubi, Prime, Peacock. I can run on every major network, Fox, ABC, NBC, all of them. So some here in the near future, you're going to be watching TV or you're going to be streaming BMF or Power, and you're going to see Goat Moves Inc. in between your programming.
That's what's up.
And he locked in with me just so I could have that deal. So I'm very appreciative. Shout out to Chris Stump at Consult TV because he did not have to do that.
That's what's up. Now that's business right there. Now, like what actually drives you to be able to be as ambitious as you are?
Everybody asks me that. It's a myriad of things. Like I said, I will say this though, and I know exactly where it comes from, just as far as what I've observed. Like the way you raise kids, it does. It matters. Parenting, the family unit, the family structure matters. So growing up with my grandparents, my grandfather was Nigerian in Missouri. you talk about racism, you talk about, people not having a chance. My grandpa was picking fruit with a master's degree because they didn't want to see a Black face in management or in their establishment, but he didn't make excuses. Rain, sleet, snow, hell, or shine, literally, because we're in Missouri. So it's all of that, plus tornadoes. That man would get up, suit up and boot up, head held high, and he would go out and he would make it happen. And to this day, we still have that house that my grandfather bought. You know what I mean? He didn't make no excuses. So seeing that and then watching my parents, they're teenagers. I remember when my mama turned 25. I remember when my mama got my first car. I was there in the car with her. Like I seen my parents go through all these transitions. I never ever heard them complain. I never heard, and although my mother is militant and very much Black power and, all into history, she too in her arena. My mother is at the top of one of the top hospitals in the world.
Nurse, right?
Yeah, well, she used to be a nurse. She's in management now. That's what I'm saying. So she was, managing the hospital. So once again, her name is Atunike. She got the foreign name and everything. Never let that stop her. Never let her beginning stop her. And then not only that, but because I am into history and I love history, there's no way that I'm going to look at Tulsa, Rosewood, New York, all the communities in New Orleans and all the communities in the Midwest that were generating billions of dollars, even at that time, the equivalent, the Black economy on its own, independent of the white economy. This is why they went and not only burned it down, but burned down the business owners and the influential Black people, because they knew, we can't have this consciousness replicating. We got to get them niggas and take them out. I can't look at all that and sit here in 2024 on my $1,000 iPhone, on my $1,000 Mac, internet, you feel me? And all this access, my dad and it sit up here, I can't do it, Mr. White Devil. Okay, but it's a lot of Black devils too that don't be fooling me. It's a lot of Black devils too in the hood. What about that? So I don't know. I've just never been that. Like my dad raised, and I say this, my dad specifically, my dad raised me like his eldest son. I just ain't no punk bitch. I don't know another way to say it. He's always raised me to just know you assume what it is that you gonna do. And just like in 187, when old boy told him, don't be halfway stupid, be all the way stupid.
Yeah.
That's how my dad was. So, and that's just how I am. I get after it.
Okay, was there anything in your life, especially like the main points where you did feel okay, maybe like you failed, like I can't do this?
Are we every other? This is like a monthly thing. I feel, dude, even as a founder, like as a CEO, when you start assuming responsibility for other people, dude, I feel like I'm failing all the time, if I'm being honest. But I can't let that stop me because, okay, for example, it's just like when I was doing these shares, right, for this company. Missouri rejected my stuff. They sent me back an email rejected. I was pissed. I said, excuse me? You literally said this. And I was just like, dude, this gonna push this back again. We got to pay people. I'm horrible. But then like my co-founder said, he said, well, Rachel, when have you ever launched a company with the SEC and a $5 million raise? Have you done this before? And I'm like, well, no. He said, okay, so you're going to fail because you don't know, but you're going to learn. And now you know what to do. And I'm like, you are absolutely right. So failure is just a part of the journey. I'm so used to it now. It just rolls off my back. I'm like, cool. I last night I took an L, but tonight I bounced back. That's just how I live. Some weeks it's almost been like, man, what L can I avoid this week? Because I know it's gonna be one.
Yeah, because I like when I listen to you and I'm like, I think people really misinterpret the type of person she is. You've always been this way, I think, that I've seen on different interviews, but the Tariq Nasheed interview is where I feel like majority of it kind of came out as far as comments about your comments or questions that you ask on there. Now, so before you go in, before you kind of give a little spill of what happened, this is my interpretation of the situation, okay? Which is this.
Okay.
When I saw it, I think that you are 100% behind Black people when it comes to if you're being oppressed. But if you are not dealing with that, don't use that as an excuse to hold what you're trying to do back. And when I started the podcast, I didn't know the direction, which I think that's the reason why a lot of people are stuck, because they don't know how to do anything. So I think that was another reason why I'm glad that you and your dad are kind of pushing the legacy builder thing, because niggas don't know what to do. They just don't. And so it took Conway, I had a conversation with Conway the Machine in order for me to really push the podcast, because originally I was doing the podcast for just local rappers. You know, I wanted to do a hip hop podcast, so I did one. When I met Conway, I said, "Hey man, how do you get rappers on your platform? To come and do interviews?" He said, "Man, it's easy." He was like, "You just go to the Instagram page." He was like, "Most rappers have their manager or their email," and he was like, "You just send them like a little invite on what you're trying to do." And he was like, "If they're interested, they'll hit you back." And he was like, you can do virtual ones, which is a lot easier. Or if they come to your city or whatever, you live in like LA or New York or whatever, then you can do a sit down with them, hopefully, or whatever. But he was like, yeah, just like that. And then after that, it started picking traction. And my homeboy actually hooked me up to the interview with Spice One, and then I was able to go. But to get back to the situation, I think you are trying to let people know that, hey, don't use the white man as an excuse. Get your ass up off that damn couch and go do something.
Well, no, it's not only just that. And I'm glad you asked me about it. And here's what I'll say, because I had to go back and watch. I was like, why got everybody up in arms? And no, just to put into perspective, like I said, like I come from a very, living in my house, I had to be a lawyer for mine. Like my parents are on two opposite ends of the spectrum. My dad's a man of the world. My mother's a woman of God. And I had to meet in the middle to still get what I wanted to do accomplished. So I had to be a lawyer for mine. So that translates in a way of like, okay, here's what I want people, particularly Black people, to understand is that I'm not saying that there's not systematic oppression. I'm not saying that there aren't dynamics. I am in, and this is what I tell people all the time, I am a Black woman with an afro and cornrows, okay, in a white male dominant industry. When I go to pitch parties, there's only maybe 5 other Black people. Hell, I went to a Robert F. Kennedy event, F1. It was only one other Black person there, and it was an old light-skinned dude. You know what I mean? Literally, he was about 60 something. So I was the only male or female, I was the only Black woman there. And I had my fro out, shaking Robert F. Kennedy's hand, like, yeah, you about to meet me again. And that's with you for real. Like, because what I want them to understand is that, okay, and I ain't gonna lie, like I have one best friend. She's also just as intellectually driven as I am. Our sense of humor is off, okay? And I'm still my father's daughter. So I have a sense of humor, even in the way I ask things, but I do come from a place of facts. Even them being upset about the STD fact, I'm like, listen, there's a myriad of statistics, not just from the CDC or the health department. There's even Black researchers that will tell you, no, this is a thing. I come from a medical family. Yeah. They're like, no, we have a crisis and an outbreak amongst us. I myself have literally had to take women that I love and have relationships with to clinics after they've given a Black dude their virginity, and now you got gonorrhea and syphilis. So not only am I going off of statistics, I'm going off of real life. And like I said in my video, if this is a thought leader and a Black activist, then reparations need not be the only thing that we inquire about. Like, what about the actual state of Black people? What about the mental state of Black men? Are we teaching Black men their value? Are we teaching them how to be disciplined, be consistent, emotional intelligence? Are we teaching them that their body too, their sexual energy too is also important, and they don't need to be depleting themselves with whores every chance that they get and then send back wondering why, damn, I feel unmotivated. I ain't got no money. Oh, it's the white man. No, it's the book of bees that you've been getting off of Instagram. It's what you're pursuing. Your energy is going where your attention is going, and then even this whole white supremacy. And I love white people. I ain't got nothing against white people, but I'm like, these people can't even stand in the sun. What do you mean supreme where? This is a mind game that they have tricked y'all into. Because like I said, I go in the white spaces, I halfway talk crazy to them and they love it. They love every bit of it because they know that I'm not here for your approval. I'm not here. First of all, you're not gonna let me do nothing. It's what I'm gonna do with or without you. So that's the mindset. And here's the thing, when you make that energetic shift within yourself, people can't help but get in the line and fall into line with what it is that you're doing. So what I wanted them to understand with my reaction video was that, listen, the only difference between me and you is that I just did the hard mental work to get here. That's it. I'm just okay. I know how to lean into discomfort. I know how to embrace failure. You feel me? And whatever your purpose is. And let me make this clear. I'm pro reparations. I never said I wasn't for reparations. But my whole thing is that, okay, if the white devil is the problem, then we need to address the mindset before we even get this money. Because at this rate, as I see it, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, we'll end up giving it back.
Oh, yeah. You're going to put it right back into the communities because you haven't tapped into what wealth and what, building this is all about. And I can say this because I'm in space with them. And that's my problem. It's not that Black people lack. I'm not even going to say know-how. Some of them, and I know exactly who I'm talking to now. This particular demographic of Black people, they do. You just want money. And that's fine. But when you get this money, don't not now move the goalposts and say, well, now we need permanent assistance, because that's going to be the second step. It's going to go from, oh, we need reparations to now we need permanent assistance because X, Y, and Z. And that's my problem. And even with Tariq Nasheed, I have no problem with him. But at the same time, yes, there are other things that need to be talked about. And I'm not sure, maybe he does than just reparations, and the white people in the systems. There's a lot of things that we can do amongst ourselves in our communities now that would make a huge difference before we even get to the money, before we even get to the white devil. Which is what I was saying. I was like, there's no white devil sitting on these men's shoulder on a day-to-day basis when they're making these day-to-day decisions. And then what I love the most about the reaction video I did is that if you notice in the comments, nobody addresses the second half of the video. Nobody addresses when I'm talking about Black men and Black fathers. Nobody's addressing when I'm saying Tariq Nasheed is literally the example of a Black man, y'all king, who's not letting the white devil stop him from doing nothing. He's doing it. You don't put out multiple movies and press runs and international releases by sitting back and talking about, oh, I can't, and they don't let me, so I won't. No, he's out here getting it. So my thing is that, y'all, there's a lot of mental and spiritual power that you have. You're here. Everybody, if you living on earth, you chosen. It's not, oh, I'm Christian, I'm chosen. Oh, I'm conscious, I'm chosen. I'm Black, I'm chosen. No, you live here. You didn't came through the portal and came here. So you're chosen. Now, what you choose to do with your vehicle, with your vessel, that's all on you. But I do know one thing. Your creator would not have created you in this vehicle if your creator didn't think that you could do something with it. You see what I'm saying? At least in my mind. Like, I don't know.
Do you think people were more upset about the question? Was it the question that you asked, or?
I think it was the question, and I think it was how I asked it. Because here's the thing, and I said this in the comments to somebody. I said, listen, I never said I wasn't an asshole. I never said that. You all might have assumed. But yeah, I never said that. So, I'm sarcastic, I'm funny, and I have a dark sense of humor, but I have it with myself. You see what I'm saying? It's not exclusive to, Black people, because like I said, if Ebony K was sitting where Tariq and she was, it would have been the same thing. Like, so girl, let me ask you, you don't think your child need a daddy? You know what I mean? You don't, you couldn't, you're a phenomenal woman. You don't think you're capable of finding a man that could match your greatness? Because I think that you can. I don't think that you needed to have this child by yourself. So that's what people don't understand. Everybody can get it with me. Black, white, old, young, rich, poor, Christian, Muslim, conscious, hotep. Y'all can all get it with me. I don't discriminate.
Okay. So you straight 100 with everybody.
With everybody and everything. But right now I'm talking to a grown Black man about other grown Black men. And at the end of the day, yes, men set the tone in communities, as we see. You see what I'm saying? Like, and my thing is that I'm also going by their logic. We kings, we leaders. Okay, so well, let me ask you, because and that's why I gave the example. It's the same way as the founder and CEO of a business. I can't point to my co-founder or my media partner and be like, oh, well, go ask my dad. They like, girl, this is you. We're all here because of you. You're the leader. Are you not? Okay, cool. We want to talk to you. So that's the mantle that I want Black people just to assume, like, grab the reins of your life. You feel me? And stop giving your power away to this white supremacy, and stop waiting on white daddy to bless you with reparations. Like, dude, nah, you can go get reparations now. Because please, that's how I look at it with raising this money. This the real reparations. I hear y'all finna give me these millions now.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. You out there getting this shit. I ain't gonna lie. Nigga,
in these white spaces with my Black afro. In my Black features. And I talk just like this. I don't, hi guys. Nah, I talk to them just like this. I got bass in my voice. I'm Rachel Renee. You know what I mean? I'm GOAT moves. Who's the GOAT? Me. What happened in 93? Me. You know, like, you got to have that. What they say, when you ain't playing with you, nobody else ain't. That's how it is. And I just really want Black people to understand that, because we could infiltrate more spaces. But like I said in the video, if you're coming with this chaos, like with dudes, if you're coming to business meetings, they're talking about their family vacations, and you're like, yeah, my baby mom and my other baby mom, and I ain't getting married, and da-da-da-da. Dude, you sound like a liability. You sound like somebody that is going to make doing business very hard. You sound like we're going to conclude business with you and you're going to get sued by one of your baby mamas or something. Like, seriously, because that's how it is. Even as people, when you do, how many times have you fell back from a family member or a friend because they got too much going on? Okay, so in business, you want people to say, oh no, don't worry about the baby moms, and don't worry about these other values that are flawed. We're still gonna invest and risk millions of dollars with you. No, you haven't even shown that you can run a household, that you can lead a household, but you're gonna come lead this multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And I'm in these spaces. They're like, we would love to do business with more of you, but man. So, you know, but I can only say, hopefully they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack here, as they say.
Yeah. That's actually one of the words I always say, like, there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers, but mentality is definitely one of the biggest ones. And see, a lot of times people think that you're, not you particularly when I say you, but people feel that when you speak, you're grouping all Black folks together. And I know that's not the case a lot of times when people be talking. But one thing that I have noticed is the mindset. You have to change the mindset. A lot of Black individuals have a lot of entrepreneur and business mindset, but you have to change your thought process on doing it. Me and my brother, we went to a restaurant. Actually, me and my wife and my brother and my sister. We went to a Black-owned restaurant. I'm not even gonna say the restaurant name, but we walked in, and the server was standing at the cash register with the Black lady and one of the cooks. And, you know, we walked in, you know, they were like, oh, hey, man, welcome to the da-da-da-da-da. So, you know, we went over, they was like, so, you know, what you want? And so we ordered our food, and then they were like, you know, you sitting down, you know, you eating in or you taking out. We were like, we're gonna sit. Gave us the stuff, we sat down. Okay. Then all of a sudden the black cook, the one that was standing up there against the register at first, he calls me over to the register. He's like, hey man, he's like, we don't have this, we don't have this, and we don't have this, but we can substitute for this and this. And it's like, it wasn't professional. Let's put it like
yes.
that. Okay.
Yes.
And I try to get Black people to understand that because this is a predominantly white run when it comes to businesses, okay? And instead of looking at race, but you have to look at it this way. The reason why it's hard for Black people to own businesses is because you need to put yourself in a certain mind state when you're doing this. That's the reason why you would rather go to like an Applebee's or Olive Garden because you probably would get better service from that than some Black-owned food establishments.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it's kind of the same when you look at, you know, some salons and stuff like that. And I'm just like, if you can't make everything Black-owned as far as like the community, like how you invest in yourself, because that's another issue that we have. And you see that with Asians and you see that with Latinos. Like Latinos, they'll come over here from Mexico and then they bring their brothers and their sisters and shit. And then everything is just Latino.
Dude, I'm in LA. You wanna talk about it? That's what I was saying in the video.
Yeah.
And no, not to cut you off, but please let me prove your point. When we moved to LA in 2003, from 2003 to 2024, when I tell you these Latins are taking their city back, and I'm mad at them, but y'all gotta understand, I'm going to school with people who are literally telling me, oh no, my uncle just got deported this morning. That's why I was late. Like they came and got him. He's back in Mexico. I'm watching people that are not even legal on paper. These people don't even have IDs, but some way, somehow, Vallartas keep popping up. Lavenderias keep popping up. These salons keep popping up, but it's because they get on a hell of a code, and to the point you could have a Mexican and a Guatemalan. Oh, if it's them two in your Black ASS, oh no, it's them. It's them against you. It'll be them against each other once you leave, but they're gonna link up because they're still Latin. We don't do that. Look, and we see this with the Tariq Nasheed cult. And yes, I'm calling his following a cult because it's like you're literally calling me. I don't qualify as a Black woman simply because I presented a question based off a statistic. So you're mad. I don't qualify. My grandfather's an immigrant. I'm a tether. I'm a misandrist. And like I said, I hold women accountable too. So I guess you got to call me a misogynist. I have a whole playlist on my YouTube dedicated to holding women accountable outside of men. And I tell them the same thing. A man ain't got nothing to do with how you carry yourself as a grown woman. What are we doing? You know what I mean? And it goes back into personal responsibility at the end of the day. And that's why I gave the example of the teachers in my family. I have never, listen to me, even as a kid, I could never escape any responsibility. Even if I didn't do it, it was like, no, you're here, you know better. Oh, you around, you didn't remove yourself. No, now you in trouble. And it used to irritate me as a kid because I'm like, dang, I can't get away with nothing, even when I don't do nothing. But it helped me as I got older because it gave me this high level of autonomy. Like, no, you are in control here. And you can't put that off on anybody else. And that's what I want us to understand because, like I said, watching these Latins build their communities, you'll meet Hispanics, they'll live in the U.S. 10 plus years, still won't know a lick of English. You know why? Because their community can sustain them. Their schools, their salons, their grocery stores, their father's son landscaping businesses, all the things that they have going on, they'll bind together. And the reason why I say wealth is a frequency and a mindset, because when you study these families, rather it's the Rockefellers or the Rothschild, they're so gang about it, even if they don't like each other. As a family, look, we gonna come together, you gonna marry her, y'all gonna sit down, you gonna shut up. Hey, youngest sibling, oldest sibling, I don't give a F about none of that funk. What this money about? We don't have that. It's, I don't like you, I don't F with you, you out of there. And get her out of there, get them out of there. We can't even get on code with one another. So that's where I beg the question again. What is reparations really going to solve? Case in point, lottery winners. Your average lottery winner is going right back broke within 5 years. Why is that after getting $200 million? You didn't have the mindset. You didn't cultivate the skills, the relationship to be able to maintain this wealth and go amass more because it just wasn't in you. And that's why I just wanted people to understand that the life that you want is an inside job, and it's on the other side of discomfort. It's on the other side of learning. It's on the other side of collaboration. It's on the other side of all these things that y'all are basically saying, we don't want to do it. Nah, we don't want to do it. Y'all don't even want to look at facts. And that's what I'm saying. So what business are you going to run? Because if your accountant come to you and say, listen, man, this bottom line is bottom line. And like, we got to make some changes. Nah, I'm the CEO. Okay, well, we're going to continue to, we're not going to make no money. That sounds real good. It sounds real nice on paper, but we're not making any money, CEO, unless you can make objective decisions and eliminate a little bit of this emotion. But that takes practice, and it takes practice in everyday life. And like I said in the video, which everybody keeps wanting to ignore, I went through my F the world, F everybody, it's everybody else's phase, it's this person's fault. I went through that. And I didn't like it. I couldn't even stay there long because I'm like, okay, I'm all of my energy is going over here where now, as we see, if I can even take a fraction of that and put it back into myself, look what I can achieve despite the circumstances. And what I want Black people to also do is, look at history. Look at all these Black entertainers, all of these Black, I just found out the founder of Fat Burger was a Black woman. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? In the early 1900s, was she she's going outside seeing strange fruit hanging up on the trees. Did she make excuses? No. You're going against the worst of odds, the worst of conditions. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I just want them to understand, and just people in general to understand, but definitely us, because nobody else is limiting themselves. There's so much talent. There's so much natural talent. It actually really infuriates me because there's so much natural talent, not only just in sports and arts, but even the way a lot of these people mind work. I'm like, man, if y'all could just put that over here, you wouldn't even be worried about it, or we would have them. Like I said, we would have had reparations by now.
Yeah. Well, shoot, let me switch gears real quick. Earlier you had said something about your top 5 when we first started. What is Rachel Renee's top 5?
For rap, oh man. So Bone Thugs is number 1. Bone Thugs, Ghetto Boys, DJ Quick, Spice One. It's always hard. I always change that. Huh?
I said that's 4. You got one more.
I know. I'm like, this last one. Who do I listen to the most? And now I probably have to change this because I love Brother Lynch, and I do love a lot of Brother Lynch, but I also love a lot of Ice Cube. Because it's either that nigga that gang bang and that nigga that slang, or it's Mr. NWA, Jacket for me. I don't know. It's between. I still had to get that to Brother Lynch. I'm sorry. I still got to give it to Brother Lynch because I just like Sick Man. Come on now. Like, it was, as a kid listening to him, I was like, what is this madness? And I loved it. But that's my top 5. DJ Quick, love him. I hope he is such a great producer. He composes very well. I hope we can get to the podcast. Spice One.
I'm gonna ask you that. Like, y'all ain't.
If my dad would just let me get out here, I was like, let me get out here and politic a little bit. I can get him. But yeah, I would love to have them. And then Bone Thugs, Ghetto Boys, even him working with Willie D now is insane. I'm like, you working with Mr. Reed, these Mikey? Okay.
Yeah, because Brother Lynch just dropped another album.
I'm for real. Now, see, I didn't know. I've been in my tech world. Okay.
He just dropped Season of the Sickness 2.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to check it out. Pull up. I got to give honorary mention to Pastor Troy. I got to get all playing GA. What, Pastor?
Yeah. I remember, boy, I swear, like that cover.
In the cup with the truck wheel. What? Yeah. Shout out to Pastor Troy. You ruled my early 2000 summers, dude.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Pastor Truck, man. Really, yeah. Shout out to him, man. The first CD I grabbed, boy, I got that motherfucker just because of the cover. I ain't never seen him
Right.
up in a pastor suit with
Yeah.
that ammunition and shit on. Yeah.
PT Cruiser, baby.
Yeah, that's my shit, man. What's next for you? Like what besides the stuff that you already spoke about that you're working on?
Well, what's next for me right now is the fun part. So the fun part starts with Go Moves Inc. Now that I have went through all the due diligence with the SEC, IRS, FINRA, all the alphabet boys. Now that I am finally officially an SEC regulated corporation, the fun part of now raising money starts. So I'm going to be interviewing, I'm going to be campaigning, politicking, I'm going to be doing everything I can to raise this money, develop this platform even more, rallying small to medium-sized businesses, your mom and pops, especially those that struggle with integrating technology into their business, utilizing e-commerce to increase their revenue, increase their brand reach. So as far as Go Moves Inc., that's what I have coming up in the very immediate future. As far as Holdin Court, I will continue to raise hell on Holdin Court Podcast now that I know that I can.
Hey, keep doing it, David. Keep
I will
doing it.
continue to raise
Yeah,
hell.
before I let you go though, in what ways are you involved with El Rancho Holdings? Or is that
Oh, okay. I'm glad you asked. Let me sum that up real quick. So at the pitch party, once again, Sean Coombs. So he has a group that is dedicated to is facilitating the sales of boutique hotels, commodities, and like just precious metals and treasures and things like that. But they're an official group. I can't legally say right now what hotel deal sales we're in, but it is a hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. And basically, no, he came at me because he just, once again, going back to just how you carry yourself and how you maintain posture in any arena, in around anybody. Like I tell people all the time, people bet on the jockey, not the horse. So he just really liked the way I got down. He liked how ambitious I was, how I would just go out. Also being connected to entertainment and just my ability to get things done one way or another. I'm resourceful before anything else. If I had to pick one trait about myself, listen, beauty can go, give me my resourcefulness, okay? That's what I need. So he just liked how resourceful I was. So he was like, would you like to join the group, as a facilitator in these deals? And also when it comes to negotiating, like I'm not afraid to negotiate. I'm not scared to ask the hard questions. I don't care the tax bracket of anybody. Listen, at the end of the day, billionaire or not, nigga, if just for example, if the MGM say they want this paperwork and this and this and that, then he needs to run that. I don't care who he is, who your dad is, who the trust fund is, this is what they say they need. So being that woman to come in, yeah,
No. I thought about Superfly when you said that shit. All right,
Man, I'm trying to give you a chance. Now, you don't get me my money tonight. I'm gonna put that young girl of yours out on Horse Road.
Listen, Prince, that's my wife you talking about,
So
man.
what? Now, somebody's going to work tonight, Freddie.
collectivize.
but no, go ahead. Yeah,
Yes, I don't care about none of that. What do we need to get it done? So he invited me to the group. I accepted. So that's my dealings with them. So yeah, so if people are into selling, cryptos or precious metal, gold mines, things like that, oil, that's what I'm into, facilitating the deal. That's what inspired me to now start studying for my Series 7 license, not only being able to take my company public, but also ensuring that I don't ever get cut out of a deal. So when you get your Series 7 license, that's equivalent of being able to be a stockbroker. So think of Wolf of Wall Street. He got his Series 7 license and able to be able to do that. So that's what I'm studying for now, so I can continue to do that in max capacity.
Okay, all right. Well, shit. Well, I'm gonna say this. Look, I've learned a lot. Okay. I love your energy.
Oh, thank you.
Like, I hope your dad sees this. I want to tell you, you've raised this woman right. Because your energy is amazing. It's like an aura.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
your
appreciate
energy is
it.
amazing.
Thank you.
But I do want to thank you for taking the time out with me. I do want to give you your flowers as well. No, not only for the things that you have accomplished, but the things that I know you will accomplish in the future. Uh, I hope to stay tapped in with you. So hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we can grow together on things.
Of course, thank you. No, I support all, man. Listen, I'm for, like I said, I really I walk it like I talk it. I support Black media, local media. You know, we've been doing podcasts since we've been here in Kansas City, all of them. I think I'm like the second or third episode for half of them. Like I support local media, local artists, people that are, you know, out here doing their thing. I'm all for it. And hell yeah, we gotta come back and do this again. You just let me know. I'll make time for it.
Oh shit, that's gonna work, man. All right, but hey, you ain't saying nothing but a word. But yeah, no, but I want to thank you. I want you to have a blessed rest of your day, and then just keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, your ambition, your drive, your energy, like those things I noticed from the start. And yeah, those are things that I think a lot of other females and other people need to see, like what you're doing, so that they can be like, okay, I can do this as well, and this is how I probably can execute that and shit like that. But
Bust it wide open on Instagram. We have options. I'm trying to tell the girlies, come over here. You can be a respectable woman. You can keep your clothes on, still be classy, still be bougie, still be a little razzle dazzle, little ratchet, but you can lead with class and intellect, and you know your, like you said, just your good energy. Be fun to be around. You know what I mean? Be pleasant. It's okay.
now, before you leave, since we've got like 2 minutes left, is there any rap story you have from like the time that your dad was doing music that you kind of?
I mean, I got so many. I mean, as far as like, I mean, even because I was here for all of them. So I was in the studio when he wrote all of them. I was there when he recorded them. I remember meeting Mr. CIRV'N when he came to the house and signed my poster when I had All No Limit all over my wall. I remember when he got the feature with Busy Bone in the early 2000s, and even coming out to LA, like just seeing people and how they respond to him also just lets me know how solid my dad is and, you know, doing what he does. But as far as any particular story, it's like it's just the whole life. Like,
was there anybody that you've met that had you starstruck? The first person you met that kind of had
Lazy Bone and Crazy Bone. When I met Lazy, I was like, oh my God. I was dressed. You see, I had my flannel on, I had my looks on. I said, nah, I got to dress for mine. Like,
yeah, I did.
I was. And then what I loved the most was that he literally was like a big cousin. That's what I say. He literally is like that big cousin that you disappear at the barbecue with, go smoke a joint, and y'all just have a cool time. So Lazy and Crazy Bone really had me like, that's why I could barely rap. Running with 84 like he doesn't. I was like, I have so much more in me, but I'm so nervous. He's right here.
All righty. Well, hey, I ain't gonna hold you up, but hey, thank you. And we definitely gonna do this again.
Oh yeah, man. You have a good night. Thank you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Just make sure the coke fire.